Hi, and welcome to the SaVeg podcast.
I'm Rose, also known as Cheap Lazy Vegan on YouTube.
And I'm Daniel, one of your favorite guest stars on Cheap Lazy Vegan's YouTube channel.
We're two friends who love to talk about the latest trending topics.
So get comfortable and join us while we give our SaVeg take on just about everything.
You are currently listening to the previous episode of this podcast, but if you would like to listen to this week's episode and get some exclusive content, go over to patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the SaVeg podcast.
Hey, guys.
We are doing this remotely.
We are. This
for
is
old time's sake.
Definitely for old time's sake. And I think probably never again.
It's a bit of a stressful situation. We forgot how hard it was to do this. I think it's just because we forgot how to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's been a while.
I mean, Daniel went away, so what's up?
I was going to say, can you believe we used to do this literally like every
week?
Yeah.
I know. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. But also you did nothing at the time because it was COVID, so.
This is true. This is very true.
We had a little more patience maybe back then.
Did we? Yeah.
Maybe not. Anyway, guys, so Daniel's in the mountains. How's it going over there?
Mm-hmm. It is amazing. I just wanted like a little, having like a little mini escape, going, we went hiking yesterday to this like beautiful waterfalls. And then tomorrow we're doing another hike. And then I think Wednesday we're going to go cross country skiing. And we're doing a huge cross country ski on the Saturday. So,
God damn! Look at you. You're so like active. It's a very Canadian weekend.
It is a very Canadian weekend, and this town that I'm in is like super small, so it feels very like I don't know. It's just like when you go to a small town.
Is it giving you Schitt's Creek vibes?
Definitely, it's like very chill. Very calm. I feel very relaxed. Right. It's super nice. So.
Yeah, it is nice to go out to the countryside once in a while,
Mm-hmm. Wait,
maybe not live there 24/7. I drank for the first time since dry January ended. Yesterday was February 5th, so I actually didn't drink until yesterday, February 5th. And I just went out with my friend, had a few. Nice. And today I did absolutely nothing.
The
thing is, I wasn't even that hungover. Yeah, I wasn't even that hungover. Like, I just had, I remember I woke up in the morning and I was, of course, tired. Okay, so, and I knew, because for me, the thing is, the headache will always come. Okay, I will always have a headache. So I did a preemptive strike and I took Advil before I got the headache. So I woke up and I was like, oh, I feel fine, but not fine. Obviously, still a bit tired. And then I was craving instant noodles, so I made instant noodles. This is like my usual routine. And then I sat on the couch or laid on the couch, took a little nap while having Sex and the City playing in the background, and scrolled on my phone the entire day. My screen time is probably 12 hours.
You were not, but are you sticking to your cardinal rule this year though, Rose, for TikTok?
Oh, especially not today. No, today was a wasteland. My life. You
broke that rule.
Oh God, it's so addictive. It's so bad. TikTok is just so bad. I think it's making worms out of my brain.
Oh God damn, Roses.
I don't know. It's don't you feel like it's our attention span is shrinking?
That's why I honestly, I'm a strong believer in this, guys. Everyone should start doing this. When we're doing activities or even watching TV or doing whatever, we need to put our devices down. You know what I mean?
Right.
This, I think it doesn't help our attention span. And I'm guilty of this as well, is I'm watching TV, I'm on Facebook Marketplace, I'm all of a sudden on TikTok, but still watching TV and have music go. It's just too much. You know what I mean? It's
I know.
You're not focusing on anything, and it's not going to help. Our attention span, like you said, is just getting shorter and shorter. Soon we're going to be like goldfish.
Seriously, it's so bad.
Yeah. They say goldfish's memory is 5 seconds or something. I don't know if it's memory or attention span or something. That's going to be us. We're going to have a conversation and not be able to continue it. Yeah.
Seriously. Yeah. I think I need to have some no phone times and stuff like that just to Anyways, shall we jump? What's up?
I was going to say, I feel like I'm seeing firsthand on the dating apps how short people's attention spans are.
Because no one's responding, or they'll respond and then they stop.
Exactly. Their attention span's so short. God damn.
Ugh. No, that's a different problem.
Yeah.
That's a dating app problem.
Oh, god damn. God damn.
Anyway, okay, guys. Just a quick reminder. Make sure you subscribe to our Patreon. It's patreon.com/the SaVeg podcast. You get every episode a week earlier than everyone else, and you get a bonus Patreon exclusive episode every single month. And it's as cheap as $3 a month to support us. And you also get ad-free content. There you go.
Exactly. Everything's ad-free. And guys, we do have a new Patreon that joined. So we'd like to give thanks to Avery for joining our little Patreon community.
Avery. Thanks for joining. Anyway.
All right.
You guys, we have a lot of fucking stories today.
There's so much going on.
There's a lot of shit we want to talk about. There's a lot going on. Okay, so do you want to start us off with whatever you think is, whatever you want to start off with?
Okay.
I know you sent me a list here.
There is a list, okay? And I'm not going to do it in any particular order because the first story
Should we do the most interesting first or no?
Well, I think the most pressing, which we have to talk about, Rose, is Netflix. Like we have to talk about it.
Okay, but what's actually going on with this Netflix situation? Because I'm hearing all these different things, right? At first, I heard that they're doing this thing where it's like they're not allowing password sharing. Okay, so basically, right now, what's happening is if you have one account in your family, but you live in different homes, which is like the case for both of us.
Yeah.
You live in different homes, then right now you can still share that same Netflix whatever family account, and you can have multiple users, and you can watch from different devices, and that's been working. Okay. And now the announcement was that they're not going to allow like sharing beyond the same physical household.
Yeah.
So is that actually happening?
I don't know. So I have this article from like CTV, which is pretty reliable like source here in Canada.
And which day was it though? Because they were saying that something got leaked and it was wrong information.
It was published It was published February 6th. So that's today.
That's today. Okay. Yeah. So what's the lowdown?
The lowdown here, it says Netflix begins password sharing crackdown in Canada. What you need to know. Okay. So I guess this is real. Like Netflix wants to crack down on password sharing so they can generate revenue from all those people who have been getting a free ride. What I want to stop there for a second though is like, I don't really think it's a free ride because Netflix already had it in place where it's like only a certain number of screens could be watching it at the same time.
Exactly. Right? Well, so they're thinking, oh, like you're still allowed to all watch it from different screens, just not at the same time. But it's like, I don't know.
It's kind of
and you had to pay extra. You had to pay extra. Like my parents pay extra so that you can watch on multiple screens at the same time. So like no one, like they're acting like people were just, taking full advantage when they already put in measures to make sure that people were not watching at the same time. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So basically, what does it say? So they can blah, 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 blah. People who do not live in your household will need to use their own account to watch Netflix. They announced, so I think the way that they're going to track it, what I heard is that they're going to be doing it based on home Wi-Fi or something like this. Yes, that's what I heard.
So you have to connect to your home Wi-Fi every 30 days or something.
Yeah.
So basically, if you have a TV, like for example, for us, like our TV at home, we're not going to be able to connect that to our parents' Wi-Fi. So I'm going to have to fucking only watch it through my goddamn computer or something because ain't nobody paying. I'm pissed, and it's a principle. Okay.
It is because we've been doing this for so long, and that was part of their model, and that's why it was so successful because it was
they keep doing this.
I know. Like
every few months, they're like, we're going to raise the price or we're going to do something. We're going to put in ads, like all this crazy shit.
I know. It's because I think they're saying here in this article, they're saying, I guess this has been the reason that Netflix is doing this, among other things, such as raising prices, contemplating doing that ad model where it's like you pay like $5.99, but you get ads in your, Netflix or whatever it is due to rising costs of the movie and television production. So like because of how much more expensive it is to do that, as well as, because if you think about it, this is actually a really good point. Like, I mean, not a good point that they're increasing their prices, but there's increased competition in the space, right? So they're trying
That's true.
But then you would think that would drive costs down.
I don't exactly. Like, I don't know if that's the right strategy, if there's increased competition. So you're going to make it more inaccessible to people. So people are going to be less likely, because there's a lot of people that, you're right, like if they're going to if Netflix is going to do this, then they might not even continue with Netflix, and they'll just continue with Crave or whatever platforms, like fucking what's the Apple TV, or not Apple TV, Disney Plus, or all these different things. Because it's like, why would I, now it's like an additional cost. So I think people are probably like, it's probably going to hurt them. Like, that's my guess. I don't know.
So I guess there was a survey that was done. And this is also in the article that I guess according to, I don't know the validity of surveys and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, according to this survey, it was 62% of those who share passwords said they will stop using Netflix due to this new policy when it comes out. Another 25% of people that were part of this survey said that they actually cannot afford Netflix. So if there's no password sharing, they will not be using it. But obviously, maybe they share it with a friend. And 35% said they're going to use another streaming service. So that's just some of the high level stats.
And also a lot of the shows on Netflix are like not that great anymore.
I know.
So yeah, the other, like, cause lately I've been finding myself watching Crave or Disney Plus a little bit more. And even my brother, cause we all share. So my brother was like, yeah, I probably won't do Netflix because I watch more stuff on Crave or Disney Plus.
That's me as well. I honestly, since I got Crave, that's what I've been watching most of the time. Like Netflix, I can usually watch, but all the good stuff is on Crave. So I'm like, if they're going to, and I use my parents' Netflix. So if they're taking that away, then I'm just like, am I going to buy Netflix? No, you're not going to increase revenue, if anything. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And also, like, I know this is like not intentional on the Netflix part, but like, that rant I sent to you, like through our chat when I was like, this is a fucking another single person tax. Okay.
Yep. Oh.
Yeah. Oh. You know what I mean? It's like we are now once again being demonized by choosing to live alone, for example. Because we live alone, there's no one else to share. We're already paying probably like double what other people would be paying for, like, maybe not double, but like, a significant amount more because we choose to live alone, which, obviously that is our choice. But at the same time, it's like, now we have another thing, because now if you live alone, you can't share that Netflix password with anybody. You got to just pay for it yourself.
Exactly. Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that, because about this like single person's like tax, because obviously it's tax season right now, and I was talking to colleagues in the office, and they're all talking about like, the spousal benefit and the shall we claim tax on this person or whoever's the higher income earner to get less taxes and blah blah blah, all this shit. And I'm just like, you know what, guys? This is bullshit. There should be some kind of single person's bucket or box that you tick that, like, you know what? Hey, we get a tax credit of like, I don't know, $10,000 every year because we have to pay for everything our fucking selves.
Yeah, it's true.
Know?
And it's expensive. Like, getting a one bedroom. Expensive. Yeah. If you getting like a 1-bedroom place to live by yourself is a lot more expensive than if you got a 2-bedroom place and you live with another person. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, if you're a couple, a lot of times they'll just get the 1-bedroom. So they're literally paying like half what a single person would be paying. But, they're paying with, drama.
I guess that's true. It's kind of nice to live by yourself because it's kind of peaceful. It is
home. Really nice to live by yourself. Yeah. But it is definitely like very expensive to live by yourself. Like that is 100% certain. Yeah.
Especially as
anyways, we have another
up,
cost. Daniel, it is too soon to discuss interest rates. Okay. I've made peace. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you think the verdict is? I think as Netflix, it sounds like Netflix is going to implement this. I think they're actually it's going to be more hurtful it's going to do more harm than what they were trying to achieve, to be completely honest. Like, I think you'll actually find users leaving the platform versus getting more subscribers that are paying, to be honest.
Maybe they should get better shows. I don't know. They do have like, they'll usually have like one thing that's like really good, and then I'll watch that. Or maybe I just like don't watch that much. I don't know. I'll watch like that one thing that's really good, and then I stop. Like there isn't like, I feel like the movies could be better. Like they don't have very good movies, I feel like. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not looking hard enough, but who knows? I don't know. And people are struggling, man. They're not going to pay an extra whatever for Netflix. Mm-hmm. Anyway. All right. Well, what do you guys think of the Netflix thing? Let us know if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know in the comments. Mm-hmm. We would love to know. What's the next story?
Oh, God damn. So the next story, Roses, is one of our favorite. It's one of our competitors in the podcast arena, Joe Rogan.
Yes, I want to talk about this too. So Joe Rogan.
Yes. So the article is called, and then we can kind of get into it, but Joe Rogan blasts bonkers claim from Biden Advisory Committee doctor that genetics is the number one cause of obesity.
Yes. I agree with Joe on this one.
Oh, god damn, Rose, this is going to get controversial as hell.
Well, I need to know exactly what the doctor said. I think I saw it. Hold on. Let me see this article.
So basically...
Anyway, yeah. So read me a little bit of what happened.
I'll read you this one. I'll read you this. So Joe Rogan reacted to a claim made on 60... So I guess there was like a 60-minute special in January by Dr. Fatima Cody Stanford that genetics is the number one cause of obesity. The doctor, who specialized in obesity medicine, said that diet and exercise have little impact on obesity, but genetics was the number one cause. If you were born, and this is a direct quote, if you were born to parents that have obesity, you have a 50 to 85% likelihood of having the disease yourself, even with optimal diet, exercise, sleep management, and stress management, Stanford said.
I'm sure this is the credible doctor, but like, where is that coming from? Where are I
think she's been studying
with exercise, food management, or is it
stress
because
too?
Yeah, but like, are they doing a good job with the stress management? Like, how do you know that they're actually following, a very good exercise and food regime? This is bullshit. I'm sorry, it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Exactly.
You cannot say it's 100%. It's mostly genetics.
Exactly.
Yes, your genetics make a factor, but the environment of which we have created is literally feeding into, like, it's like a petri dish. Like, if you have the genetic for becoming obese, you're like now in this petri dish where it's just growing and growing.
Exactly. And I think from my perspective, and again, I'm not a doctor, I haven't studied this stuff, but just from what am I trying to say here? Like, obviously, if you're eating right, exercising and doing all those things, you might not be stick thin. You might still carry a little bit of extra weight.
Yes.
Right? But the chance of you being morbidly obese, cannot, those two cannot go hand in hand. You cannot be morbidly obese.
Yes.
And exercise daily, eating all the right foods. Like, it's just an equation that doesn't add up.
It's impossible. It's like creating cells out of nothing. Like, you can't create fat cells out of absolutely nothing. If you're not feeding your body, you're not going to become like morbidly obese. That makes no fucking sense. And to say that it's like, it has nothing, like, what? How can she say that? I'm so confused. I understand what she's saying. Like, of course, yes, you're more likely to be obese if your parents are obese, but I don't know where she's getting this. Oh, even if you follow the right, health, whatever, like, right diet and exercise. I'm like, excuse me, how does that work? Because like,
I think
you're again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
Go
to
ahead.
her point, like what I think. Again, I think the way that she presented it is just like not great. Like she was saying about how, like, even with optimal diet and all this other things, where I agree kind of is like, obviously if you were born to, like, I think there's a couple factors, right? Like if you're born to parents,
there's so many factors, of course.
Exactly. If you're born to parents that are like more obese, your chances are that they're, again, and I'm not throwing shade here or anything, but they're not living a very healthy lifestyle. So when their child is born, and I've seen this, like I used to work at a cafe, and like when families came in, like, and one family in particular, very large family, used to come in every single Saturday, Sunday with their young daughter, and they would eat the most horrible foods. Like I'm talking like nachos, like so much stuff, but all the time. It wasn't like in moderation. And I'm like, so I think there's something to be said. Like if your parents are that way, likely they're not taking their kid out to exercise and doing all these things. So the kid is more likely to obviously become obese because of that. I do think there's somewhat of a genetics in play, in a sense that, there might be people that are predisposed to gain weight quicker, or might just be naturally a little bit of a heavier build. But I think there's a difference between a heavier build from genetics versus morbid obesity, right? Like morbid obesity is just not like natural. You know what I mean? Like
it's not.
To have 600 pounds, you see these people like that are like 600, 700, 800 pounds, or like, these huge individuals. And it's like, they need to be fed. They can't even get to the grocery store themselves and all of this other stuff. That's not normal. And if you're exercising and not eating like that, you will not get that way.
Exactly. And like, show me one person on My 600-Pound Life, which I've never seen. Show me one person that's eating a healthy diet on that fucking show. Literally,
Exactly.
it's so stupid to say this because I don't know where she's trying to get this. And I completely agree. It's like the reason why obese parents tend to have obese children is because they are passing down mostly they're passing down their unhealthy habits.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And yes, I think again, there are genetic components. For example, like some people, they know exactly when to stop eating. They, maybe they don't have much of an appetite as other people do. So there are definitely like some genetic factors, but it's like you still have to feed into that in order to get that big. Like it's not I don't know. It's just bullshit. And
exactly.
I'm sorry, continue. We
yeah,
both have a lot to say about this.
We do. We're like, holy. And there is a little lag as well, guys. So I apologize with the Skype. I think there's a slightly little lag. But another thing too is like with genetics, there are some like predisposed things. Like look at like body shapes, right? Like Rose, you're more of a petite woman versus myself, who's like more of a larger man. You know. God damn you! Wow, you'd be getting some compliments on this podcast. You know.
Damn, I be petite.
God damn,
I just be short.
But like those are like some genetic things, right? But again, I just like I hate the way that she's presented this to say it's almost like scapegoating, not scapegoating. It's almost like giving people that are. This is going to sound really bad, guys. I don't know how to word this properly, but it's like almost like
giving people an excuse to not do anything.
Exactly, or being like, oh, it's not my fault because even if I did all the right things, I'd still be obese.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to blame people either. And I totally get I think what she's trying to do is not put the blame on individuals, which fair. Like, I think it's the society. I think, yes, there is individual responsibility at the end of the day, but we always talk about this. It's like in a society that it makes it so easy for you to be obese, like, which is ridiculous, right? Like, think about how much I was literally telling my parents this the other day. I was like, how much, like, it is so fucked up that we live in this society where it's like, you have to actively try hard not to be overweight. Like, I feel like I have to actively try hard. Like, if I just let go and I don't care at all, I probably would be overweight because you know what I mean? Because our society is like, it incentivizes and makes convenient the things, these unhealthy choices. So it's like, you can't really blame people at the same time, and we're not taught how to eat properly, whether it's by our parents or in schools, and we're feeding kids like junk food from day one. So it's like, we're kind of like fighting this losing battle. So I get what she's saying, but it's definitely not genetics that makes people morbidly obese. If it was, then we would have morbid obesity since the beginning of time. Okay. Morbid obesity has become an issue in recent years with the rise of extreme capitalism. That's literally what it is.
Exactly. And again, we've talked about this so many times in this podcast because there's been so many episodes, guys, that we've talked about this exact topic. And I think there's more to it. Like you said, we're in a society where it just makes the convenience of things, and actually we actively have to try not to. I'm actively being like, I have to make sure I'm walking to work and doing all these things because otherwise I would gain weight as well. And like,
because you'd be sitting on your ass all day if you weren't.
Exactly.
Right?
And also they talk about like, and one thing that we've also talked about in this podcast, but the idea of like these food deserts in like impoverished areas where, instead of having great grocery stores, they have fast food convenience, or they have McDonald's. And, the fast food industry like McDonald's has made it like almost cheaper. You can go and get like the 99-cent menu, get like five burgers for $5 off the 99-cent menu versus getting something healthier somewhere else. It might be more expensive or less convenient to do it that way. So you're really like perpetuating this thing. Like, I don't know. I think it's again, it's a complex issue, but I do feel like just to say that obesity is all down to genetics, it's not right. Like, I think I don't think that's fair. And I also think that another point is it like kind of, it almost in one way it discredits people that like maybe were obese and really worked hard to lose it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and that also defeats the claim that it's all genetics, because there's a lot of people that are obese and then they start making healthier life choices and they get into really good shape. So it just proves that it's not all genetics, right? Like genetics.
I'm kind of shocked that she said this. She's like someone that studies obesity.
I know, it's crazy.
So what did Joe Rogan say?
Well, Joe Rogan was just like, it's
bullshit.
Yeah, he's basically like, it's bullshit.
Well, I guess I agree with Joe Rogan on one thing.
God damn, this will be the first time that I'll be agreeing.
No, I'm sure there's things I agree with him on, but yeah, this is definitely something I agree on.
He goes, here's a quote from Joe Rogan. You ready for it?
I'm ready.
There's not like a person in that family, I don't know who he's referring to, that's eating grass-fed steak, running marathons, lifting weights, getting up at 6 a.m.
He's really obsessed with this grass-fed steak.
God,
Continue.
It's such bullshit.
I know.
Getting a cold plunge, doing all of these things, but are still
plunge.
fat, but is still fat as fuck. They're watching their calories in and calories out, and they're burning 1,000 calories a day in exercise, and they're still fat. They're still fat as fuck. That's not real. You know what I mean? Like he's like, that's just not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. It doesn't make sense. Okay. When you actually put people in an environment, like let's say you put all these people in like, I don't know, to use an extreme example, like let's say they all go to jail and then they're fed like a very strict diet. There's no way that they're not going to lose the weight. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's, unless you have some sort of like condition, which is very rare. Okay. People always talk about these like genetic conditions that like, stops people from losing weight, but it's like those are very rare. Like it's not common. That doesn't explain the 60% or however many percent of obese Americans. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Anyways,
it's wild to me, and like it
seems so common sense. Like I don't know why it's like,
I get it.
It's such common sense.
It is, and that's where I'm just like, okay. I don't know where this geneticist is coming from. I think maybe she meant like what we're saying about how some people just naturally are a bit bigger, but like obviously we're not saying that.
But she said obesity.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I would love to have a chat with this woman and see where she's getting this from, because she must get it from somewhere though. That's why I'm so confused, because she's not like just some random person. Like she's someone that like actually studies it. So are we wrong? Are there people that are obese for like,
but I'm also wondering,
eating the right way? Like, come on.
This might be a bit controversial, Rose, but I'm also wondering, and this could be very controversial, guys. This is all speculation, but this particular doctor specializes in obesity medicine, so I feel like it's in her best interest to say that diet and exercise have little impact.
So she sells. Does she sell it?
Well, it doesn't say she sells it. It just says Stanford, who specializes in obesity medication. So I'm like, that makes me wonder.
We're like, seeing a little conflict of interest.
100%. Because if
this
I
is simply speculation, guys.
Of course, all speculation. Like, but if I specialized in weight loss pills, I would promote, hey, you know what? There's nothing you can do because of your family genetics. Take these weight loss pills. It's the only way you can lose weight. You know what I mean? Like
it's insane.
It's not your fault. It's your genetics. No matter what you do, even if you exercise, even if you do everything right, you'll never lose that weight. But here's a magic pill that will help you.
God damn, Daniel. Maybe you might be right. Because otherwise I don't understand it.
Damn, Roses.
God damn. People be saying anything for monies.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's the next story? Let us know what you guys think of that story.
Yes.
We might get some hate comments.
I think that we probably will get some hate comments. We'll see how it goes. Be kind to us, guys, in the comment section down below.
Well, apparently we're not very body positive. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever watched that show, My 600-Pound Body or whatever?
I haven't, no, but I've seen a few like clips and stuff of like, I think there's these two sisters that are really big.
Yeah,
and, like,
I've seen clips.
And that's why I think, honestly, obesity is such a complex issue, because a lot of those people, they have a lot of stuff going on emotionally, right? Like they're, like they have a lot of turmoil, and a part of it's because the bad diet makes your mood go like this, you're all over the place, right?
It's true. You might get depression just from a bad diet alone.
Exactly. That's why I honestly think Whale, the movie, was such a good representation, even though there's some really gross scenes and you're like, oh God, like why is he doing that? But it's like, it really fed into how you would imagine that person living, Right. So I thought, anywho.
So sad.
It is. It really is.
I know.
All right.
Okay. Continuing. What's the next story?
The next story is, I can't remember if I texted you this one, Rose, but basically, I guess, when did this actually happen? I think it was last week. So this happened on last Wednesday. So it says Britain grinds to a halt as 500,000 workers go on strike.
Damn.
Did you hear about this, Roses? So
no, but I'm not surprised.
A long running
fucking hellscape over there.
It's getting crazy. It's getting actually wild.
Yeah.
So a long-running dispute over pay and working conditions came to a head on Wednesday. So this was last Wednesday, guys. And for those of you that aren't on the Patreon, this is 2 Wednesdays ago. With hundreds of thousands of British workers taking part in what organizers said was the biggest day of industrial action in more than a decade. About 500,000 workers joined in the day of mass action as teachers, train and bus drivers, university lecturers, civil servants, airport staff all staged walkouts. The huge show of discontent comes amid rampant inflation and years of stagnant wage growth, and it puts further pressure on the long-ruling Conservative Party as it grapples with the cost of living crisis. God damn.
God damn, good. It's about time people speak up, go on strike.
I know. This is another thing that we beat to death on this podcast. But I think it is time to start. People do need to start taking action, and they need to start, doing this stuff, because we can't. This is not a sustainable model with inflation getting so crazy as it is, and then everyone else getting 1, maybe 2% wage increases when inflation's at like 8%. It's like, you're making less every year than you did the year before. That's not sustainable.
I know.
It's
crazy.
It is crazy.
I'm surprised we don't have protests here.
I know. I'm shocked. I think that we're heading that way though, Rose. Like, as it keeps going like this, it keeps going like this, we might head to the same situation.
God damn, Daniels. Be scary as all hail. Well, I hope you guys are doing okay in the UK.
Oh, god damn. I know they're faced with huge. Well, I think the UK has also got hit harder than us in terms of
it's hit really hard because of I think it's partly because of the war, and they're closer to the war, and also so many other reasons. But the UK is just fucked. They've had 4 prime ministers in the last 2 years,
3 years,
3 years. No, they literally changed prime ministers 3 times this year or last year.
It is honestly insane. And I think a big part of it, though, too, in the UK is that because they're so close to the war that's going on. And also, I think, if I remember correctly, anyway, they get a lot of, I think, natural gas or something from Russia/Ukraine.
Yes.
Or from Russia, I think, primarily. And because obviously that's been tapped dry at the moment. No one's buying, Russian energy and stuff. Yeah. They're facing this huge energy crisis where the prices are going through the roof, and part of the backlash is at the same time you're seeing these energy companies, the same energy companies, posting record profits and
oh my God,
talking about how well they're doing, and you have all these people that are like, I can't even afford my fucking bills. So I think we're just going to see more and more of this. It is a slap in the face. Imagine, Rose, you're like, fuck, my energy bill has tripled in the last month or in the last year. And then at the same time, the energy company that you're buying your electricity from goes posting record profits in 2022.
Oh my God.
Able to, our CEO got a $20 million bonus because of how well the company's doing. And meanwhile, you're just looking at your bill and you're like, what am I paying for?
Yeah.
How much of this is actual cost that goes to the energy that I'm consuming? Yeah. Versus cuffing or fattening the pockets of a select few. So oh god damn.
And these are these are human rights. People need to be having, these are, I think that they should not even be commodified, but that's just me. That's just my communist way of speaking.
Oh god damn, Rose, you be a commie.
But it's these are human rights. People need heat and electricity, and they need these things, water, know, and you shouldn't be able to, even if it was people had to pay for it, you shouldn't be able to make a profit out of it. It
should be a cost, you should be
yes,
yeah, people pay for the stuff that they need, but at a cost. And obviously, maybe build in that cost, realistic salaries and things for the people that work there. But
this is
huge,
for-profit business.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
The same thing can be said about grocery stores, right? Grocery stores.
You could literally say anything about everything, water, groceries, food. And we've commodified every single thing. At least we have healthcare that's government run, but in the US, they don't even have that. That's also commodified.
It's crazy because even just think like groceries and stuff. Like we have all these like grocery stores, right? Like all of them are for profit. So that means they're, you know, either owned by shareholders or they're private companies owned by like, you know, maybe a family or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're making shitloads of money.
I know.
From selling groceries to us.
That's true.
And it's
That's
like,
true.
It's kind of crazy. It's crazy when you think about it, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. And now with the rise of grocery prices, apparently they're also probably going to be making record profits.
Oh God damn. Well, that's why I think I did overhear, or not overhear, but I heard that there is going to be some checks done to make sure that like the increases that grocery stores have been doing is in line with their like inflated costs,
right,
versus just baking in extra profit, because there's so much speculation that a lot of these companies, not just groceries, but across the globe, have been like for example, if I own my like little business and let's say the cost of shipping in coffee went up by $3. Well, instead of increasing the coffee by only $3, I increase it by $6 and I'm making an extra $3 profit, you know? And that's where they're like, the whole discussion around like price gouging and all of that stuff has come in, where like there could be a crackdown. I mean, are we actually going to see a crackdown happen? Probably not. You know, like these big corporations, they seem to get away with murder.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but it's not looking promising.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. What's the next story?
Okay, so the next story, hang on, I'm just closing a few windows.
I also have a couple stories, but we have a lot of stories. Like we mentioned last week. I think we mentioned it last week, but like it's so shocking how much happens in like a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it's just nonstop, Rose.
I know, it's nonstop. Well, we'll never be out of a podcasting job.
This is so true. God damn. Well, do you want to?
We need to get some sponsors or some shit.
I know we really do. Like, I mean,
we probably could at this point.
No, we definitely
should work with someone. I know. Yeah, we just have no time to search for them. One of my stories. Let's talk about. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to discuss. I mean, this just like a funny little story. Have you Marie Kondo? Do you remember that like little Japanese lady?
She's the one that does the what's it called?
She does the KonMari method of cleaning,
where she like organizes shit and like, you know.
Yes. Yeah. So she like had a show. I remember she had a show on Netflix, I think it was, where she would like go into people's homes and help them tidy and organize. And she was like the queen of tidying. Everyone was obsessed with her. I found her a little bit. I mean, I'm sure she's a lovely person, but I found her to be a little like annoying.
Controversial, Rose.
Controversial. But everyone loved her. It's fine. She wasn't my cup of tea. But now she says her home is now messy, quote unquote. Because I think she has 3 kids now. So she's saying after the 3rd child, she's kind of like, she's kind of given up on being perfectly organized. So interesting. The person that, came up with the tidying up method is now not so tidy.
But I do agree. I do think, and like maybe this is just from my experience, and I want to justify the reason that my house is messy. But I do feel like, especially the busier you get in life, and if you start having kids and everything else, like naturally, no matter who you are, even if you're like the most organized person ever, it's like you just can't keep up. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And I think, what's her name again? Marie Kondo.
Marie Kondo. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's just feeling the pressure of that. It's like once you have kids, life changes, especially 3. Imagine 3 little
3
munchkins
kids
running around. Yeah.
Yeah. I would be judging you if your house was super clean with 3 kids. I'd be like, what the hell's going on?
I was like, do you not work? Do you have a cleaner?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
I know. She said this. She said, up until now, I was a professional tidier, so I did my best to keep my home tidy at all times. I have kind of given up on that in a good way for me. Now I realize what is important to me is enjoying spending time with my children and home. So that's nice. And I think also she probably had a lot of pressure to have a clean home because of her reputation as this like clean person. So I think that's why she just decided to come out and just say it, because she's like, I'm fucking tired of like, pretending that I'm this clean person when, I'm also human.
But they're also there's also something to be said about those people that are in professions where, and I don't know if this is true for everyone, but like, they always heard, like I've heard the thing like, oh, everyone wants to date a chef because they want, meals cooked for them all the time and all this stuff. But really, like a chef cooks all day and the last thing they want to do when they get home is cook. So like for her, it could be the same. Like she's organizing all day, cleaning, doing all this shit. when she gets home, she's like, fuck that. I don't want to do that right now. I've done it all day.
True.
So,
yep. Very true. It is true. Because I cook a lot for my channel too. And I'm like, people are like, why don't you cook for me? I'm like, I cook all day. I don't want to cook again.
Yeah.
So I feed people leftovers.
Like, no, thank you. But I love eating your leftovers. So anytime,
I know,
Rosie,
they're good.
They are delicious.
My leftovers are great. So I should, yeah, I'll invite you more to eat my leftovers. What's up?
I'll always be there to support you in your leftovers.
Okay.
Rose.
I have one more story. This is kind of a crazy story. It's another true, like, well, I don't know if it's a true crime case, but it's one of those cases. I don't know if you've heard of this, but basically there was this woman. Okay. So there's this family. They're called the Clancy family. And I think it's called Clancy. Yes. So, and this was somewhere in the States. I can't remember where. In Duxbury. I don't know where that is. Anyways, so this woman, she was 32 years old. Her name was Lindsay Clancy. She had 3 children. They were like all very young. Like there was one toddler that was like, I don't know, maybe 11 months old. There was one child that was maybe like 2 or 3. And then there was another child that was like 4 or something. So they're all really young kids. Like she had a lot of them, back to back. And she, I guess, suffered from postpartum psychosis. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
So it's like more severe than postpartum depression, where because postpartum depression apparently is very common, we don't know that much about it, which is kind of crazy. Like I feel like people don't talk about it that much, even though it is so common. But postpartum psychosis is definitely less common, but it's still like there. Yeah. And I guess this is when people start like hearing things or like they start imagining things that are not real. It's like a psychosis. Yeah. And so this woman was suffering from postpartum psychosis. And so she was actually getting she was trying to get treatment for it. I don't know exactly what kind of treatment she's actually received. And her husband also started working from home because she was having these issues. So they were doing, the things that they needed to be doing. And apparently her husband, this happened maybe a few weeks ago, I can't remember. And her husband, I guess, he went out one day to get food for 25 minutes, came back, and he saw his wife, Lindsay, had jumped out of the window to try to kill herself. And then, thankfully she survived, but I guess he went inside and realized that she had killed her firstborns. I know, the first and second born. And I think the toddler was also in critical condition. Oh my God. And then, so the toddler was brought to the baby, I don't know, is it called a baby or a toddler? The baby was brought to the hospital. And then he also died, like, I don't know how long later, but he died eventually. So basically all 3 kids were killed. And it's so fucking sad.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So now a lot of people are talking about this because like, oh my God, like that's fucking awful. Can you imagine?
No. And I just
that is the scariest shit.
It is. Mental health and like all that kind of stuff is so fucking terrifying. And again, not discrediting or downplaying this whatsoever, but like if somebody's in a psychosis state, like they really should be at a hospital or like getting, and I don't know if she was, I don't know the whole story or anything like that, but like she probably needed to be on maybe some type of medication or something to help her get through that, because mental health is no joke. And these, especially like, psychosis, schizophrenia, some of these like really extreme things, or extreme mental health illnesses, they're not to be taken lightly. Like these people, she didn't want to do those things. She was in a psychosis, right? Like it's hard to wrap your head around until you've seen somebody actually in that state. But it's surreal. And that's I know. I just feel so bad
for everyone. It's so sad. The husband has forgiven her, which is like amazing, because he understands that that's not her, right? Like he was like, he wrote this like really long letter. I like cried, like listening to it. I was like, oh my God, it's so sad. Like imagine like you have this beautiful family and they all look so cute. The babies look so cute. And all of a sudden it's like, all taken away. So he had said like basically Lindsay was this like awesome mom and she was amazing. She was like a nurse and anyway, all these great things, but she was like sick. She was, you know, she was suffering from the psychosis. And and now I guess it's saying here, I found a new article. It says that Lindsay Clancy is accused of killing kids. She's going to be facing charges Tuesday. Like, is she actually going to be... this is where I'm so torn because it's like, I don't know if she should be facing, you know, criminal charges, but at the same time, she did what she did. It's so difficult.
I still think that you can't, it's so tough, right? Like it's tough because that person wasn't in their right head state, but they still committed a crime, right? So like,
true.
I don't know.
Oh, God, I feel really bad because also imagine like her, you know, waking up from that psychosis and realizing what happened.
Exactly. Well, that's the wild thing is a lot of the people that have, because I was reading a lot about like schizophrenia and stuff, and like a lot of people, once they get on medication and stuff, not everyone, but a lot can actually, once they get out of the psychosis and they're on the road to recovery, I mean, they can sometimes reflect back and see and realize what they were like back then. Like,
right.
And
that
remember
causes
doing things.
Issues probably.
Yeah. Well, it would cause like depression. You can slip in depression and stuff. Like imagine like she's probably gonna, once she realizes fully what's
she's
happened,
gonna be like so devastated.
Oh yeah, she's gonna be fucking depressed. Imagine you wake up out of a psychosis.
Oh
and
God.
You've killed your children.
Oh my God. Honestly, I can't.
Like.
Yeah, it's so crazy. She was on medications apparently, but I guess like you can't really rely on medications fully. So apparently defense is going to argue that she was over medicated and lacked criminal responsibility. I don't know if over medication would be the defense, but I mean either way, God, it's so tough. Like I don't know. I feel like these people, they need to be treated, not criminally prosecuted. I mean, obviously every case is different, but, you know, it wasn't her fault. I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. It's so sad though. Anyway.
So sad.
So yeah, it's a serious issue, guys. Apparently postpartum depression, also very, very common. And they say that it's a lot more common than we even know because most people, they just kind of, they don't really...
acknowledge it?
They don't acknowledge it or know what it is. Yeah. And they just kind of, you know, go through it, or they don't get like treated or anything like that. And apparently if you get it treated, it is pretty good. You know, people respond well to treatment. But a lot of people don't get it treated because they think, you know, there's a lot of shame as well on being a mom. Like, you know, a lot of people think that they should be bonding with their kids immediately. But I think one of the symptoms of like postpartum depression is that sometimes like you feel like you don't connect with your child and you're not really caring for your child. And of course that's coming with a lot of shame and guilt. You're probably like, why am I not connecting with my own child? So
for sure, you'd feel like a bad parent, right? You'd feel like a bad mom.
Mom, especially there's so much pressure on moms too. Like not even close to the amount of pressure for dads. If a dad said, "Oh, I don't feel that connected to my child," I feel like people wouldn't freak out that much. But if like a mom said that, it's like you're a terrible mom.
Yeah. Well, as Rose likes to always say, if there is no way that God was a woman.
Yes,
he definitely was a man because of how women and men have been designed.
So not only do you have to carry the child, fucking go through the traumatic experience of childbirth, now you have to worry about getting postpartum depression or postpartum psychosis. How does that even happen? It's just like a brain thing, right? It's like a hormonal brain thing.
It's because like when you're pregnant, like again, I don't know.
You have so many hormones.
Exactly. I've never been pregnant, but obviously, but there's just so many hormones flowing through your body. And we know like the thing is with psychosis and mental illness and all of that stuff, like the reason that it's kind of scary is we're all, obviously some people are more predisposed and whatever, but like anytime there's a chemical imbalance, be it through hormones, be it through substance abuse, such as drugs or whatever it might be. But anytime you get a chemical imbalance, that can cause the mental health illness, right? So for women, because the hormones are like raging through child labor and, you know, being pregnant and everything else, It can impact your brain in such a way that obviously depression and, postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis, like those things, it actually does make sense that women can get that because of the fluctuation in hormones in their body. Right. So God damn, this is why I'm not having kids, people.
That's why you're not getting pregnant.
Keep honestly, trying, but it's not happening.
Yeah. Like I feel like people need to tell people these things. It's like, we do not have enough information about what happens. Like, we always see is a happy pregnant lady and then she just pops a child. Like, she just has a child.
Yeah.
And then it's like, ooh, happy family. It's like, we don't see all the dirty, like, nasty shit that happens in between or after.
Well, how so afterwards, like a woman... Again, I'm not discrediting. I know a lot of my friends have had kids and they love their children and it was an amazing experience. But also, like, you have these real issues that happen. Like, some of my friends have developed, like, conditions after, like certain allergies after having kids, all kinds of stuff, or like, it changes your body like completely. Like, a lot of my friends obviously that have kids, they have no bladder control anymore. Or they like, what I mean? Like all of these things. So, and that's the less glamorous side of having children that isn't really talked about, to be honest. That's why I think
once again, God's a man, 100%.
Yep. I love not provoking Rose, but like I just know exactly what to say to get her to go off on like a really good tangent. And that's just one of them.
You like to poke the bear. You like to poke the bear.
I do. If you ever want to get Rose talking, just, anything about this kind of topic, about how God is a man. Oh, she will talk your ear off. Okay.
All the injustices of being a woman. Yes. I will talk your ear off. The shit we have to deal with.
Oh, Rose.
Honestly.
Oh, you crack me up. You really do. Oh, God. Things I'll never understand as a man, right?
Exactly. I mean, not that I've ever been pregnant, but, I still have that, have that lovely period every single month. That's great.
God damn.
Anyway, shall we move? Yeah, what's the next story?
All right. So the next story, unfortunately... ties into what you were just talking about. Well, not exactly. It's another murder story.
Oh, God damn.
Yeah. So I guess there was a YouTuber who was accused of murder recently. They were a really small YouTuber. They were like a smaller YouTuber, but their Northern Ireland YouTuber was charged with murdering a pregnant woman last week. And police told the court he used his live stream as an alibi. So I guess he had like a live stream that was out at the time of her death. So he was like saying, I was live streaming and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So it turns out the live stream was indeed active on the night that it was his girlfriend.
He killed his girlfriend?
Actually, was it his girlfriend? Murdered. It just says murdered a pregnant woman. It doesn't say if it was his girlfriend or not. So, I mean... I don't know.
What's his name?
His name is Stephen McCullough.
Okay.
McCullagh. Anyway, so the police had initially arrested him, but soon released him after he persuaded them that he was live streaming the night the murder happened. However, his live stream was active on that night. However, the footage of him playing some game, Grand Theft Auto, was pre-recorded days earlier.
How did they find out?
So I guess a technical examination of his devices by cyber experts. So I guess they like went into his computer and like looked at like when the footage was recorded and everything. And also in the live stream, when people live stream, they usually like comment to the comments. Like the comments come out and they'll go, "Oh, Rose has said this. Hi, Rose." Like this kind of stuff. Like you interact with your listeners. So this particular stream, he was like, "I don't feel like reading the comments today, guys. I'm just gonna play the game. I'm not gonna interact really with you that much." Like it was like super, super suspicious.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they've basically proved that it wasn't a live stream, essentially.
Yeah. And then apparently,
so he basically planned this murder.
Well, we don't know for sure. Again, right? There's all speculation. It's very shady.
It sounds like it because if you're going to go through the trouble of pre-recording your quote unquote live stream.
Well, exactly.
And trying to create an alibi for yourself.
That's shady as fuck.
Yeah. Why did he murder this person? I need to know.
It doesn't say.
It doesn't say that it's his girlfriend, but
I don't think it is. So it's like some random. So
it's not. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He later revised his story after they found out that his live stream wasn't real. He revised his story from that night to claim that he drank alone at home and fell asleep. So
when they start changing their story.
Oh, this is the thing, guys. Like if the shoe fits, like we say this is all speculation and everything else, but when 1 + 1 isn't equaling 2, there's something fucky going on. Like if someone's I was here at this restaurant by myself eating, and then they go to the restaurant and you were never there. It seems shady as fuck. It's like, don't lie about your shit. And like the only people that would be lying is if you have something to lie about. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
why did he kill this person?
It don't say on
fuck. I don't understand people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hold on, I need to see this. And like, what kills me is like these people just think they're so smart that they're gonna somehow fool. You know what I mean? It's like,
exactly.
I'm
just like, it's so stupid, honestly. Especially nowadays, I feel like back in the olden days, like I feel like I could be off on the wrong foot here, guys. I don't know the stats or anything, but I feel like back in the day we had more like people were. It was easier to get away with things like serial killing and all that kind of stuff back in the day, whereas now, with the advances in technology and everything, I just feel like it's a lot harder to get away with these things. Like it's like even just simple things as like we all have our phones with us, right? So like as soon as we go missing,
we can record. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, we can record. There's GPS coordinates. There's so many things that are attached to us as a person that it becomes harder to disconnect that and disappear. And I think whereas back in the day, it's like we didn't have cell phones and shit. People could disappear.
That's true. People probably got away with so much back in the day.
Oh, hugely. Because even think of like forensics has only come around since
like
the 90s,
DNA evidence.
DNA testing.
Back then they could only do like fingerprint evidence, and that's easy to conceal. Just wear fucking gloves.
Exactly. It was like, and that's if they even caught you. Like, and another thing too, which I remember, I think it was in the, I can't remember where I learned about this, but back in the day, it was on one of those like crime documentaries or whatever. But back in the day, a lot of the police departments in different states, for example, they didn't talk to each other, right? So like if you're a criminal and you're operating in the state of Alabama and then you go to like Texas and commit crimes, they don't link the two together, or they didn't used to. They'd be like, oh, we have 2 murders in Texas, we have 2 in Alabama, might be the identical murders, but they wouldn't necessarily put 2 and 2 together. And that's why like some people would get away with this, like especially if they were committing murders across state lines and doing all kinds of stuff like that. Like it becomes harder for the police to coordinate with one another. But I think that's changed now with the advance of technology, the police databases, all that kind of stuff. Like now, if they have like somebody that's committing a crime that's like has traits of other crimes that have been committed, they'll get, at least flagged in the database, right? They'll be like, oh shit, somebody's done, this is such a similar crime to like something that happened in the Midwest or somewhere else, So I do think it's not impossible, obviously, to get away with this shit, but I think it's a lot harder than it used to be.
Yeah, exactly. And people are idiots.
Yeah, but it still happens. I mean, like this guy, like pre-record a fucking live stream. It looks so shady, even if he's innocent, right? Why the fuck would you pre-record your live stream and lie to the police about it? It's so stupid. Like, if anything, you would just say like, oh, I pre-recorded this live stream. I posted the live stream. However, that night I was here, because then at least you talk about all of the things that are going on. As soon as you start lying, you already seem fucking shady.
Mm-hmm. Well, he didn't think that they were going to go through and like find out that it was pre-recorded, which is exactly why he lied about it.
He probably thought he was so smart, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm outsmarting the police. I'm so cool.
Yeah. I mean, he's still not as dumb as that guy that was Googling how to what were the Google searches? It was so ridiculous.
It was how to dispose of a body, how long until a body starts smelling in the basement. Like it was like crazy shit. I wonder if there's any updates on his story, if he's been because that was all speculation still. Oh, and he went to like Home Hardware or Home Depot or something
and bought like $500 worth of cleaning shit.
Yeah. And it was like the night that she went missing. I'm like, okay, this is actually ridiculous. Hang on, I'm going to see if there's any updates on that, because that was like a couple of weeks ago that happened. God, there's just so many people killing each other, guys.
I know. What the fuck is going on? I don't understand. Like how do people do this?
I don't know. It's crazy to me. Like, I just don't get it.
I know. Let's see. I mean, obviously it's a good thing we don't get it, but it's just insane.
Oh yeah, here he Googled how to dispose of body, all this. It doesn't say what his...
So there's no update on the case? They're probably still waiting for the trial.
I think it is.
But
I
like,
think he's having a...
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to see if there's an up-to-date... Yeah, it doesn't say.
I feel like he should just plead guilty and not go through trial because there's no way he's going to fucking win.
Well, he's already pleaded not guilty, so...
Is he dumb? Like, actually, are you dumb? Like, did he not hear, like, the evidence is damning?
I know. The evidence is... It's more than damning. It's like...
Because, like, who else? Sealed. Also, there's, like, there's no other suspects. It's literally him. I'm sorry.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy.
Yeah. Anyways, another reason to not get married, Daniel.
I know. They always say this is another thing that freaks me out, guys. We're gonna leave it on this positive note. If you ever get, this is the scary thing. People are always terrified of these serial killers and people breaking into your house and killing you. When they say that it's like 90% of the time or like 95% of the time,
something very high. Yeah.
It's someone that you know or your partner. So those are the real.
Your partner is the most likely, right? Your partner is the most likely. That's usually the number one suspect because of many reasons. I don't know why.
So fucked up.
That's so fucked up. Like, you chose to be with this person. Okay? I don't understand. Like, you can leave, buddy.
Yeah.
Like,
be a man. Walk away.
Yeah. Like, I don't understand. And there's so many people killing each other for the life insurance. Fucking all kinds of dumbass shit. God, seriously. Roses. And on that positive note...
guys.
Guys, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you give it a big thumbs up on YouTube. Of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already. Make sure you follow us on your favorite podcast streaming platform. Give us a little rating of 5 stars if you have the time. And of course, check out our Patreon. It is patreon.com/thesavagepodcast. Once again, you get bonus episodes every single month, and you get every episode a week earlier and ad-free content. And what else should they do, Daniel?
They should check out our Patreon. You just said Patreon, right?
I just said Patreon.
Oh my god, I've lost my marbles here.
You know what you should do? You guys should just sign up and come to Thailand and Bali with us.
Oh right.
The links,
my god, Rose. Yes. How did I forget? Okay,
yes,
sorry.
We are going to, because I am the influencer and you're not.
No.
The links to Thailand and Bali will be in the description box or the show notes, so you guys can sign up to come with us to Thailand and Bali this year, and all the information will be in those links as well. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.